One, two, three. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another YOBJJ episode, otherwise known as Youth of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This is episode 26, I believe, or 27. Either or, I am back again on this platform to release this kind of new content as I am getting older. And really, in this episode, it's going to be myself. And you're just going to hear my voice for X amount of time and talking on things maybe you listeners don't want to know, but it is what is in my heart, and I want to share that story with you guys just to gain my perspective, and that's it. And so that is what to expect. My name is Isaiah, nicknamed Iceman, last name Lazaro, and I am 20 years old, and I have had this girlfriend um, for about 13 years. Haha, you guessed it, it was jiu-jitsu. For 13 years. Started training when I was 7 years old or six or somewhat like that. And anyways, what we're going to be covering in today's episode is going to talk about, talking about how life is going with the journey so far, talking about my previous experience with sponsorship. I was sponsored by the GB Ambassadors and also Hyperfly being my first one, and also talking about sort of whatever comes else to mind, honestly. And so let's talk about how life is going for the moment. And I think it's a challenging question, right, for anyone to really ask themselves that. And I'm kind of an introspective person where I want to question myself, question my actions, my thoughts, and can get kind of riled up in my head sometimes. And I'm 20 years old, still early on in life, and haven't experienced much, but within my circle of jiu-jitsu, it's been a challenging time, ups and downs, people obviously falling out of their love. And also, I think it is false that I freaking hate. Like, I don't know, I just don't see uh, when it's like a real relationship. Jiu-jitsu is actually, I treat it like a relationship. I put so much time and effort and energy. You don't understand. Only if you are one of like OGs, you probably do understand. But when you're starting off in this journey, you're in the honeymoon stages, and then when you realize like, wow, this is, there's the politics that is involved, or like, oh, people don't really resonate. This is not really something that is resonating with a popular amount of people. Oh, there isn't any money that is being funded into this sport of jiu-jitsu competition. You don't win prize money. What are you talking about? I shouldn't sign up for this. A whole bunch of these thoughts haven't always, but have encountered my head like recently. And I think a big part of why I still train till this day, my parents, my family. Without them, I probably would have quit a long time ago because I've wanted to quit several times, as a matter of fact. Even though right now I seem quite aspiring about jiu-jitsu, it has been a fair share of hate relationship, and I was a kid. To briefly talk about my kid journey, I lost a bunch of times before knowing of this guy Iceman, who you may or may not know, somebody who is champion on top of his game, on top of his craft, and I've lost plenty of times, and it was only in a brief period of my kid's time where I was sort of transitioning to being a juvenile, which was 16 or 17, where I was picking up on my game and getting more advanced because I would get smashed. That was only one method. There's probably so many methods, and nothing, what works for me isn't going to work for you. But how I was raised was training with adults because we didn't have kids and there was a big challenge to their strength, their pressure, and some of them didn't really just give a fuck about like, hurting me and were like, bah, 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 bah. They were just explosive as heck, and I couldn't deal with it. There was like tears pouring in my face. I was like, blood. Man, it was a shit show. And if it wasn't for the support or even just like the self-motivation I have as a person, I think I would have quit. And I think I would have found something else because team sports seem pretty fun because there isn't a lot of responsibility that is put onto you, I feel. And something that I also want to share is the sacrifices that were contributed to where I am at today. And obviously, a lot is time, right? Time to to be good at anything, that is the ultimate sacrifice that you have to give. And as a high school kid, primary sort of, but more majority high school, you want that social life. You want to figure out who you are. You want to be having fun, going out, playing different sports with your mates, all these things. And I have to say for majority of that I didn't have the chance to. Partly because as a kid, I wouldn't say I was the most popular or outgoing or people really only knew me as a jiu-jitsu kid or as a kid who I've pretty much been raised around with, sort of thing. And it's been hard to really sort out that common ground. And that's been mainly a part of my life, and I feel like I've been empty. There's been a hole within me that I'm trying to fill. Yeah, and it's been hard. It's been a struggle, and constantly I have to still deal with even till today, and I think for however long that I'll live for, because it's a thing that you grieve, a thing that you can never get back. That you can never get back with your high school friends, because when people say that high school is your best years of life, maybe it is, but you can take what you want. But it was a fun time. Again, I think the difference between high school or whatever you do is the responsibilities. There was a very minimal responsibilities, depending on the support. Again, coming back to my parents, my family, they have been the biggest support for me. I couldn't have done anything without them. And because they were supporting me there, I could enjoy life, sort of thing, and not having to, deal with abuse or trauma or, what are we gonna eat? They've always been working behind the scenes for providing for me and for my other family. And so I think I think fighting for them was really at the front. I obviously, as a kid, wanted to make my mark in high school, and I was being, part of the student body at our high school and doing these sort of things to try and be part of the community as much as I could. But as much as I couldn't really commit because again, the training schedule, training regimen that I had to deal with in order to become better at my craft and become the best, because that was my goal that I had in mind that I could be, and I had the talent and guts and hard work. At first, it was hard work, guys. I was never the talented person. I never got on the mat. I wasn't fit, physically fit to train on the mats. I was obese, obese. Spell that OBESE. Yeah. So imagine this guy, chubby, can't bloody move. And I worked my ass off, man. I worked my ass off to get to where I'm at now. Yeah. Like I wouldn't say no days off. That is extreme, but I would grind, I would grind to where, I'll be physically, emotionally, mentally exhausted. And I would still continue doing it because I had a goal in mind. I was very goal oriented. I still am goal oriented. And I think now when I'm out of my life, I'm graduated high school into uni, still having my fair share of uni. Is uni really for me? Is it for not for me? Maybe it is in the future, but right now I'm starting to consider that it may not be. Okay, and that is the reality of what my life is right now. I think that there is much more um, things that I can work on to contribute my time, my effort to grow and make an impact, because that is ultimately, I think, why I'm here at least, is to make an impact on the world, however big or small that it is. And so that is for that segment of like how I'm doing. Um, it all stems really from my past experiences. Of course, I wouldn't say, yeah, I'm the best. I'm feeling the best right now. No, I'm okay. I'm good. I am still trying to deal with, certain past experiences, and will take my best foot forward into what's to come. Of course, there's these pressures of figuring it out, figuring out a profession, figuring out a good job for you to have a financially good position for providing for whom you love. And I think that's the best thing that I want. And also to spread the message of jiu-jitsu, because that is also a dream goal that I mentioned in a video, that I want to transcend the barriers or boundaries of what jiu-jitsu is, which is, to a lot of people, this, oh, you're gay for hugging that guy or girl. All this talk, all this smack talk, like, oh yeah, you jiu-jitsu people, you suck. Man, just wait till we are on a fight. Now, I'm not encouraging a fight. Like, if if it was to be a fight, then you can come to the gym and we can just have it civilized, or in an area where, I'm not trying to kill anyone. I'm just trying to test, okay? I'm okay to be tested on. And I think paying tribute to one of the samurai, Hickson Gracie, who proved jiu-jitsu to the world, having challenged all these, huge guys, wrestlers from all different backgrounds, and just like, you can insert word what he did to them. And that is something that I want to do, but not to that extent, but to, in a way, to educate the people in schools, the kids in schools, because I love kids. And whether you hate them or you don't, or you like them, I personally am thinking that I resonate a lot with the kids. Now, I'm a little bit older, and I'd say with my family, friends, my group, there's like the big kids table where the adults talk, and there's a kids table. I'd still say I want to hang around with the kids table, okay? Don't judge me. That is just how I am. And I think that I love to contribute as much as I can to those kids. And because they are dealing with their own struggles, again, it all stemming from their home situation, the supportive network that they have. It's so important. And if I can provide that, whether it be in a school mat area or physical school, I am going to try and do that with as much as I can. Okay, God willing. Now talk about my sponsorship. Sponsorship, ooh, the money, the business, right? So at age probably 14 or 15, I got sponsored by a jiu-jitsu brand called Hyperfly. Do or die, you can't teach art. All these amazing messages, which I love to this day, by the way. They provided me with the merchandise and gear, and overall a family. And I know the owners of Hyperfly Australia, know their family too, and just how welcoming they were, providing me the opportunities to train with their athletes, from all these different schools in Australia, and also travel overseas, compete in a super fight, as well as for them to go to my hometown, Philippines, to compete at Pan Asian, which was one moment. It was amazing. And if you hear from what I'm saying, it is the experiences that as a sponsor that they really gave me. Not really financially. They weren't giving me the racks and racks and oh yeah, you're the Iceman now. Yes, we're gonna be paying you this much because you're a big thing. No, it wasn't about that. It wasn't that. I don't know. Maybe now they can, but that wasn't what I was really seeking, and still I'm not really seeking now. I work hard now. I work jobs, not non-jiu-jitsu related jobs. I work at a cafe and a shoe store. Okay, fun fact for you all if you're still watching. But in the case that I was sponsored by them, it was the experiences, the family, the support. Now, moving on a few years, I then decided to run for the GB ambassadorship. Okay, now talking about that, okay, it's going to be. I want to speak a lot of positives about this ambassadorship, yeah, because first of all, it is with my home team. Love GB. I've been sticking there because my family too, and it's just a family orientation that they do, with their program and with their culture. With the ambassadorship, they provided us the financial now. They gave us the flight to America to compete at the Worlds. Sometimes registration or things like this, they would just we would have like these photos days, which sometimes really they didn't post, which was kind of like icky at me, but I know that GB has a lot of shit going on for them. Yeah, they're a big global franchise. We're the biggest school, and Oceania is fucking huge. So I understand that, but also I have to talk about the things that have been going on now. So going with the ambassadorship, they did give me an experience as well. I get to train with other GB athletes from the HQ like this, train with the black belts, having some really tough roles when I was a juvenile, so 16, 17. That's what happened until COVID hit. And of course, COVID, scrap that. That was that's a depressing time, and I don't want to relive those moments again. But I decided ultimately to not go and pursue again the ambassadorship because of, I think they could have done a better job in what Hyperfly provided me personally was that family, the camaraderie, the support network because they asked a lot for us. We had to post, we had to attend X amount of monthly comp trainings, and we had to do this, had to do that. We had to always be showing up, showing up, showing up. And, we are all from different parts of Sydney or the Australia, and it's hard. It's hard for us and to work with our lives. Because again, coming back to the point that I talked about before, is that jiu-jitsu, there's no fucking money in jiu-jitsu. Okay? You need to work hard to pay for your registration and to show up on that day. Again, that'll take time, you know? And again, when you're working, right, you gotta pay for expenses with home. It's not just competition. You got your own life to fucking figure out, and I'm so like happy to be in a place where my parents are supporting me. I'm so grateful from the bottom of my heart. And so I just want to picture myself in a shoe where I'd move out. Okay. And I'm sort of figuring out now, like I couldn't do that. It's just hard. And I noticed that being with the ambassadors, it was weighing on a lot of them, having to show up, show up, show up. And guess what's happening? Well, no one's really checking up on anyone. How are you doing with this? It's really only about the accomplishments. Like, hey, man, you're doing so well. Let's keep on going. Let's keep on grinding, keep on grinding, keep on grinding, keep on grinding. And it didn't feel like it took a step back and saying, hey, Iceman, you win or you learn. I didn't hear that. With Hyperfly, I got the idea, okay, I need to come back to these moments, but because I did perform pretty well with Hyperfly, and I'm I hope that the sponsorship that we had together, because it felt there was something attached, like some emotional heartstrings, when they were reaching out to me, checking up on us, checking up on the family too. It's so important to have a sponsor who can do that first and foremost, anyways, in my opinion. So I wanted to share that. And also, I guess to close off this little episode is where we're going to take YOBJJ. Hmm, pretty big question, right? I created this podcast series to give advices to the young generation, for those who are starting, for those who are already in the game, of advices, period. YOBJJ for the young people. I notice that as I'm getting older now, my audience will change. Okay, so it's important that I disclose this now. I apologize if you hear me swear, um, because I just need to reflect, and this is how I put forward my message. That I'm going to cater now to a not a larger audience, but an older audience that is young at heart as well. Okay, because you know what? I was having this conversation about movies, like cartoon movies, Kung Fu Panda. How as a kid we'd watch this movie, be like, wow, this is amazing. It's Kung Fu Panda doing the kung fu. He's with his friends beating up the bad guys. But then when you watch it and relive it again as an adult, you hear the messages. One of my favorite quotes of Kung Fu Panda is tomorrow. Wait. Give me 1 second. Mm, Today, well, part of it. Well, today is a gift. That is why it is called a present. I love the quote. I forgot the other half, but don't judge me, okay? I don't have a good memory. It means so much to understand that and to live by that, to live in the present. So that is what I'm striving towards now, is to have a content that will cater to kids, but as well as adults, young adults who are out there who will be viewing these episodes like this. And so this really is an episode that embodies and captures my story for where I'm at now. It's not all the details, but hopefully the important ones that you need to understand in order to watch the next chapters of the story of my journey. And with that said, team, thank you so much for watching. Keep smiling, keep training hard. Suhiya Etena Doro. Peace.